Hello, everyone, this is CC Movie. In the last episode, we saw Liv return to her hometown from Hollywood, where her daily life with her twin sister, Maddie, was filled with bickering, adjustments, and unexpected moments of fun. Maddie has always been down-to-earth and level-headed. When the school assigned community service projects, she quickly chose to volunteer at a nursing home. Liv, on the other hand, chose a community beautification project which turned out to be nothing like she'd imagined. Having spent her time in Hollywood on film sets surrounded by glamorous, pristine environments, she'd never done such physically demanding work before, so she decided to switch to the nursing home as well. But to her surprise, there wasn't enough space for her there. This sparked a fierce battle for territory. Liv and Maddie decided to settle the matter with a game of dodgeball. The game officially began. Liv and Marty formed a last-minute team and faced off against the elderly residents. At first, the sisters bickered occasionally. Their coordination was awkward, and they each stubbornly clung to their own little gripes. But as the game grew more intense, watching the seniors give it their all, their little disagreements gradually faded away. Liv looked at her sister working in perfect sync beside her, then at the cheerful, determined seniors, and her attitude completely changed. She was no longer going through the motions out of spite, but was genuinely immersed in the game and enjoying the moment. Maddie also let go of her occasional grievances toward her sister, her heart filled with the joy of fighting side by side with her family. Meanwhile, a lively farce was unfolding at home and at school. The school's porcupine mascot was a symbol of the entire school, and every year it was secretly stolen by rival schools. Diggy took this very seriously and specifically assigned Joey and Skippy to guard the mascot all night. Upon receiving the assignment, Joey was thrilled, feeling that he had been entrusted with an important task, and his mind was filled with anticipation of completing the mission and receiving a reward. To prevent the mascot from being stolen, he and Skippy racked their brains and finally, with great care, hung the porcupine mascot from a large tree in the yard to keep watch. The two remained on edge the entire time, terrified of making even the slightest mistake. Their tense yet earnest demeanor led to quite a few misunderstandings, making them look both clumsy and adorable. The youngest of the family, Parker, wasn't idle either. He spent his days immersed in his little inventions. After developing a super strong all-purpose glue, he felt a great sense of accomplishment and couldn't wait to test its power. He eagerly experimented all over the house, but unexpectedly, the glue was so sticky that it permanently attached a frying pan to the refrigerator. However, this proved to be short-lived, as the glue quickly lost its adhesive properties. The school atmosphere was once again electrified by the upcoming Brain Olympics science competition, with everyone actively preparing for this intense contest. The clever and quick-witted Joey had formed his competition team early on, brimming with confidence and determined to win the championship. When Liv volunteered to join his team, Joey rejected her without a second thought. In Joey's mind, Liv was nothing more than a former celebrity, pretty, good at performing, but clueless about science. She was the textbook example of looks over substance, completely unfit for a rigorous science competition. Rejected outright by her own brother, Liv felt both hurt and defiant, a surge of intense resentment welling up inside her. She was furious that everyone defined her solely by her celebrity status, assuming she was empty-headed and only good at looking glamorous. No one was willing to believe she had the ability to study diligently and excel at something. Determined to shatter everyone's stereotypes and prove herself, Liv made a silent vow to prepare for the science competition on her own, without relying on anyone. During that time, Liv set aside all her biases and restlessness, focusing intently on researching and refining her work as she built a complex Rube Goldberg machine all by herself. Countless failures and repeated adjustments made the process tedious and grueling, but whenever she felt like giving up, the hurt of being underestimated and her determination to prove herself kept her going. She was driven by a burning determination to silence all doubters through her own merit and prove that she was far from being all show. Meanwhile, on the other side, Maddie harbored a small goal of her own. She had been dreaming of the school's French club study trip to Montreal, eagerly anticipating the chance to broaden her horizons and improve herself. But the trip required a significant amount of money, and she didn't didn't want to ask her parents for it. Instead, she decided to save up on her own to make her dream come true. After much thought, Maddie decided to hold a yard sale at home to sell her unused items. In the early days of running her stall, Maddie was full of joy and enthusiasm. Watching item after item get sold and seeing her savings grow steadily filled her heart with hope and satisfaction. But in her eagerness to make money, she neglected to keep track of her inventory and inadvertently sold a childhood keepsake she had treasured for years at a bargain price. After the transaction was complete and the crowd had dispersed, as Maddie was sorting through her remaining items, the moment she realized her precious keepsakes were missing, she felt an instant sense of emptiness and deep regret. Those old objects held her cherished childhood memories. They were unique, precious treasures far more valuable than the money she had earned. Filled with guilt and heartache, she immediately rushed around, searching everywhere for the buyer. Determined to reclaim the tokens of her childhood, the mischievous Parker remained the family's mood maker. He couldn't sit still all day, getting into trouble everywhere he went. One moment he'd barge into Matilda's flea market to join the fun and stir up a bit of chaos. The next, he'd run over to Liv's science project site to disrupt her work, constantly throwing a wrench in their plans. Watching the chaos he created, he felt no remorse. On the contrary, he found it utterly amusing, repeatedly staging comical, laugh-out-loud incidents. As the science competition drew near, Liv successfully completed her homemade mechanical device. The finished product, complete and ingenious, astonished everyone, completely overturning their preconceived notions of her. Joey witnessed Liv's hard work and extraordinary talent firsthand. His heart filled with guilt and admiration, he finally realized that he had been misjudging his sister based on a narrow perspective. Defining others solely by labels was far too superficial. After some hesitation, Joey took the initiative to approach Liv, setting aside his prejudices and pride to sincerely invite her to join his team. As Liv watched her brother reach out to her, the resentment she had harbored for so long completely vanished, replaced by a sense of relief and joy. She had proven herself through her own hard work, shattering everyone's prejudices, and this sense of accomplishment gave her a deep sense of fulfillment. The siblings put their differences behind them, set aside their barriers, and worked together to prepare for the science competition. These two brief yet vastly different experiences allowed everyone in the family to grow. Liv broke free from the labels imposed by others and proved her self-worth. Maddie learned to cherish memories and realized that feelings matter far more than money. Joey learned to view others objectively and set aside stereotypes. And the family, who had always bickered along the way, grew closer and more harmonious through these mundane yet heartwarming daily moments.